First, Toastmaster Shivakumar, over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Very different. Let me invite Toastmaster Shivakumar. Switch off the lights. Will the light
Dim the light. I'm not sure. It's difficult to see the content. Not completely anything.
Okay, it's light a little bit, please.
Yeah. If it's not possible, leave it.
Leave it on. It's
okay.
readable.
Leave it on. Leave it on. Switch off.
Otherwise, YouTube, your face will not be visible.
Yes, Toastmaster Shiva. So, what is the inspiration of taking this particular topic, currency value?
That will introduce my speech.
You cannot disclose now.
No.
Okay.
Last time for you got 20 Indian rupees for the one.
Exactly, that is where I come from.
Today we can do perfect.
A couple of weeks back, actually I received a call from my dearest friend, Suresh. He said, "Hey Shiva, you know, currency exchange rate to our country has crossed 20 bucks, let me say." And I was surprised. "Oh, really?" Then he said, "Yes, this is the best time to transfer money, man. And if you just transfer 100,000 dirhams, you will be gaining almost 1 lakh rupees over to the rate which was there in the previous month. So hurry up, man." Then I got so excited. I reached the nearest exchange center and I almost was decided to send the money to India, my home country. When I was actually in the queue, a weird thought came in my mind. See, if a currency value continuously depreciates for a particular country, what is the future of the country? Economy. Forget about the country's economy and future of country's economy. What about the future of my money, which I will be sending to the country? So these were my questions. Toastmaster of the Winning, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests, a warm good evening. So these were the sequence of questions which were going in my mind. And I went to, of course, our Google Mother. I searched all the content there. And that's where I decided to give a topic called currency value. Okay. So, first of all, what is currency value? Currency value is basically a value of a currency of a particular country in international market. This is the value with which basically investors or any buyers sell or purchase the goods in any particular country. So that is the meaning of currency value. So who fixes the currency value? Currency value is not decided by a particular government of a country. It is actually decided by an external entity of a particular country, which is called central bank. So central bank closely monitors the currency value of a particular country based on imports and exports, demand and supply. So central bank has a monetary policy with the government of a particular country, which closely monitors the international exchange rates, and based on that it decides, it concludes a particular currency value and it communicates the same with a particular government of the country. Okay. And how this currency value is controlled? Currency value is basically controlled only based on demand and supply of a particular currency. Okay? If a particular currency has more demand in international market, which means it has more appreciation, it has more value in the international market. And if it is opposite, it depreciates the value and it has less value. Okay? So we have a couple of global currencies like US currency, US dollar, euros, Japan yen, and these are the currencies which are considered as global currencies because most of the transactions across the world happen in these currencies. And most of the World Bank reserves are in these currencies, which makes more demand for these currencies. So we are back to demand and supply. If demand is more for a particular currency, its value is more. So what happens when a particular currency depreciates or appreciates? Let us see the cycle of the consequences. Let us say a particular currency value is reduced or depreciated. The first impact is on imports and exports. When a particular currency value is reduced in international market, this means you will be spending more money, more of your money to procure anything in international market. So for more money spent, you will get less goods or services. This increases the prices of goods in local market. If prices of goods increases in local market, what happens? Obviously, a common man will not be able to afford more to buy anything in the local market. So purchasing potential of any local market or any country will be reduced. So if purchasing potential is reduced, there is no one to buy. So if there is no one to buy, there will be no production. If there is less production, it becomes low profit to the company. So it in turn triggers unemployment. If unemployment is there, income per family will be reduced. If income for family is reduced, it directly hits GDP of the country, which means economy will be going down. So that is the consequence of whole currency value. Let me take a small example with a small story. Let us consider a planet which is similar to Earth, but it is much younger than Earth, which has just 3 countries, X, Y, Z, headed by Ram, Rahim and Robert. Okay? So Ram, Rahim and Robert. Ram produces more of rice. Rahim produces more of bricks. Sorry, that is correct. And Robert produces cloths. Okay? So addition to rice, he produces bricks and cloths as well. So during the drought time of Rahim and Robert, 10 rice bags is exchanged with 100 bricks, and similarly 10 rice bags are exchanged with 100 cloths. Over some time, as Ram finds it is difficult to manage the transactions, he coins something called currency, similar to Rahim and Robert also, and he imposes that all the transactions should happen in the currency called rupee. Okay, and 1 rice bag is equated to 10 bricks. So after this, drought is over, and he says, Rahim and Robert says, I will not be giving 100 bricks for 10 rice bags, I will be giving only 10 bricks. In that case, he has to reduce the currency rate, which means he has to spend more currency for getting the less number of bricks. So this is how the currency rate of any particular country is reduced. If it is reduced, economy is collapsed. But what happens for a positive economy? A positive thought triggers positive economy. So if you have a positive thought in the citizens, you will have positive economy. On that day, during exchange center, I have transferred the money to my country because I am positive about my country's economy. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shivkumar. We will definitely wait you for another session. Timer, can we have the timing of the speeches?
The timing, Toastmaster Rashid, he taken 7 minutes 18 seconds, and Toastmaster Ashraf, he took 7 minutes 30 seconds, and Toastmaster Shivkumar, he taken 7 minutes 43 seconds. Only that Ashraf is qualified for OT.
Thank you. Right? Yeah. I will give 1 minute for the evaluators to just prepare yourself because I need thorough evaluation. Okay, right. Yes, we were here. Just let me talk about little bit about the debate rules. First thing. Normally in the debate we used to use parliamentary language. Now we still here don't use non-parliamentary wordings and phrases. Parliamentary, it is not about fair wording, but there are certain phrases and words which is particularly used in the house. So you will introduce few of the words in the coming slides. Questioning is allowed. Even if it is guided by rule, it is an argument basically. Question is the backbone. Questioning is the backbone of debating. Unless you question, you cannot raise your head over the other. You cannot win over the other. But though questioning is allowed, the other one is not allowed. Insulting the other side is not allowed. This is what happens normally in the arguments. Don't try to insult, but try to question logically. See, one example, speakers address other speaker as my honorable friend. See the way it is getting introduced. Even if the opponent, we are addressing the opponent, we say honorable friend. The member of opposition. This is one example of parliamentary phrase usage. One thing. Normally, this is an exception. In Toastmaster speeches, in Toastmaster framework, only in the couple of initial speeches we recommend using notes. But in debate, notes are very well accepted. Why? Nothing to is not something which is delivered after memorizing. You need to come with facts, lot of facts. If you want to substantiate your point, the facts, you need to come up with lot of things, tabulations or stories, some cuttings. Then you can say, see this. Then only you can persuade over the opponent. Yes. Let's move to the next session. That is speech evaluation. Timer, can you explain the timing rules?
For the evaluation speech, the timing is 2 to 3 minutes. Plus 30 seconds is a grace period. The 2 minutes, the green light will be on, and 2.5 the yellow light, and 3 minutes red light will be on until the speaker is finished.
Thank you, Toastmaster Walter. Let me invite Toastmaster John Thomas to evaluate Toastmaster Rashid.
Toastmaster of the evening, fellow members, Toastmaster Rashid in particular. Toastmaster Rashid definitely deserve loud plaudits. He has completed the requirement of 10 projects to get the CC certification. speech. And the thing which really attracted me, I never expected him to interpret a 3-letter word so beautifully. He picked up Y as the word to inspire us and interpreted the word in a reverse order, YHW, with something attached to every letter. A beautiful topic selection. You have delivered it beautifully. And the interpretation of each character, it was really good. Why is you and the importance of you. Happiness and wonderful. Am I correct? Even though the third one, I did not find it, you attaching it to a wonderful as, as strong as you did for the previous 2 words. Now, the aim of the speech, the primary objective of the speech was to motivate the audience to change or improve personally or emotionally. And every human being resists one thing, irrespective of his age, caste, creed. What is that? Everybody change. Every human being resists change. So it is really difficult to inspire them or motivate them to change from their own opinion and standing. You picked up a right topic. It has so much of positive vibes, and you have delivered that topic really confidently. You use really forceful words and meanings, good words, but you have missed on certain things. Even though the speech was really convincing, you should have added little more emotion, because emotion is something which really, if you narrate a personal story with emotion, then that always carries a amount of sincerity, so that others will accept you much more easier than you deliver a plain speech. So always try to include a personal story with little emotion and drama when you deliver an advanced speech in Toastmasters. And the major minus point I could say is you got disqualified because of the timing, and that is not expected on a speech 10, because you have already passed that 9 speeches, and you know timing is very critical in Toastmasters. Otherwise, it was an inspiring speech. All the best for your future performance.
Yes, Toastmaster. Rashid, don't worry. You are like Sachin. When Sachin reaches this 99, he always take a rest for some time. Okay. Let me invite Toastmaster Ashraf to evaluate Toastmaster Ashraf KP.
Hi, good evening. Good evening. Our leaders, born for me. What a wonderful offering came out of this PM Ashraf. I remember a couple of years back, there was a post in DVD. Leaders came first, or the people came first? Who came out, maybe leaders came out of the group. It was a debate. So we can use it as a topic for our debate sessions. Again, when we talk about speech, opening, board and conclusion, let me go in that way. Opening, you did in a wonderful manner. The body part, you have clearly introduced leadership styles. Even some of the words I have not even heard before. The first the word is laissez-faire. It's the first time I'm listening to that word. What other transformational, transactional, democratic, autocratic, all were somewhat known words to us. Thank you very much for introducing new word to us. Again, when we talk about the body part, I was expecting something, because we are all Toastmasters, we talked about word level things and all, but we were concentrating on corporate level, right? Most of the leadership styles you were coming out with examples something corporate world. I was expecting in a country and world level leaders. Even if you are talking about Donald Trump or which are the leaders we talk about. I was expecting something to that level, okay, because we need to grow. We are all coming up leaders. And again, when we talk about some sort of improvement part, see, once you are on the podium, you are the leader, you are the king. No one is going to question you, right? Utilize it, yeah. Whatever be the after words or wrong words coming out of you, let it come out. Come here, be confident. You don't have to just be here and talk. You don't have to be. Come here and talk. I'm the leader. You have nothing to do. We all are here to listen to you. Do it. What will happen is, see the purpose of Toastmasters. See, is to our personality development, our leadership development, our communication skill development, our language skill development. Let it come out. Unless and until we practice, it will never come out. You will always be here only. It is not enough for us. You have to utilize the network. And here, stage you say one thing. Second thing, that the vocabulary, I mean, what a thing is, and up and over, that part didn't come out of you. See, the, what we call this? Yeah, voice modulation. Voice modulation was not there much actually. See, again, if I do go for the conclusion, you did a great job here, okay? And I wish good luck for the coming projects. Thank you.
It's really inspiring, right? Though it's not a speech. Master Ashraf. May I ask the full name, please?
Muhammad Ashraf.
Muhammad Ashraf. Okay, I will not make a mistake once again. Muhammad Ashraf. Okay. Yes, and the last evaluator, Toastmaster Vivek Ayyappan is going to evaluate Toastmaster Shivakumar.
The best way to destroy the capitalist system is to debauch the currency. Does anybody know who said this? No. Vladimir Lenin. So, what Shivakumar explained here, the currency value, where the Lenin talk about debauch the currency. When he talk about the currency value, the topics, I thought I can see today Raghuram Rajan, the former RBI director or somebody. It was exactly same. A professor was standing in front of us and explaining the things or teaching us. Such a wonderful speech, and he successfully completed the third project, the level first, third project. So let us applaud Toastmaster. Toastmaster Shivakumar started the speech with a phone call from his friend Suresh, and happiness explaining about the value of the value decrease and more money we are going to get, and rushing to the exchanges. This is what we all expatriates do. Within a few minutes, he understood and he made a subject here today. It was very wonderful. In the speech opening, it was generated a curiosity among the audience. It led to us and captured the mind of audience and keep them to complete till the end of speech. Very interesting. So the opening is the body. When the body part comes, I can hear the story of Ram, Rahim and robot. I thought some religious Bengals, and who's making such a simple things, he can bring it here to explain us. So the explanation is very wonderful. and voice modulation and vocal variety, eye contacts, audience awareness, interest, well researched. I give you 5 marks out of 5. However, 2 things, the clarity and the comfort level. I did not that much interested why you are very speedy to cover. So only one thing you have to be very careful, the time management here. That's all. How do you?
Thank you, Toastmaster Vivek Ayyappan. Timer, can you explain the time taken by these evaluators?
The timing is evaluation. Toastmaster John Thomas, he took 3 minutes 22 seconds, and Toastmaster Muhammad Ashraf, he took 3 minutes 4 seconds, and Toastmaster Vivek Ayyappan, he took 3 minutes 15 seconds. All speakers are qualified.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Yes. Now everyone can relax because so far it was very tense, and I could at least understand the butterflies will be there in view of the stomachs still, right? Can someone come and give us a small relax by cracking a joke? Quickly. Yeah.
We hear about Bhatta Singh's joke. So once Bhatta Singh was about when the Diwali time, he wanted to order the sweets. So he called a sweet shop. And the sweet shop, in the food they told, if you want laddu, press 1. If you want kesari bath, press 2. If you want gulab jamun, press 3. Like that it came. He actually wanted the laddu, he pressed 1. Then again it told, if you want bundi laddu, press 1. If you want motichur, you press 2, and other laddu is press 3. Anyway, he wanted the motichur, he pressed 2. Then again it told, if you want 500 gram, press 1. If you want 5 kilo, press 2. If you want quintal, press 3. So he accidentally pressed 3. Then we realized this mistake and kept the phone. So now you know, with the phone you can see who has called it. From the shop, they called again. You ordered for the 1 quintal motichur and laddu, where we have to deliver. Then he can't afford to buy 1 quintal motichur. So he said, I have not called it, because called for it. Maybe my brother might have used my phone and called. Okay, give to your brothers. As I thought, Bhatta Singh is not that cool. I have 6 brothers. If you want my elder brother, press 1. If you want second, that's the sweet shop.
That's where it is. That's how the Toastmaster Rajesh can make us happier. Okay. Now, Toastmaster. Okay, we need to vote for the best speaker as well as evaluator. Speaker is already known, but evaluator quickly in between they can circle it and do it. Toastmaster Muhammad Ashraf, are you ready with the table topics? Or okay, so we will just quickly do a table of topics. Before that, let me go through a few things over here. What are the participants in a debate? First participant is proposition. Second, opposition. Neither. Proposition one side, opposition other side. A chairman, like chair, who coordinate and conduct. Timer goes with the rules. That means there is a timer. floor audience. Ballot counter like our tally counter. Evaluator in the case of contest. Judges in the case of contest. Normally, floor will do the evaluation of judges if it's a normal debate. Let us read through once again. Proposition, opposition, chairman, timer, floor. Rest. Then we lay it out. Proposition. So when we actually do the debate, one side the proposition will sit. Normally we can see two heads over there. Team consists of two debaters. They do propose something. The other side. So if this is the stage, one side proposition, other side opposition. Proposition will say, we need to change something. While the opposition team will say, no, we don't want to change it. That's where it will be a case. You can see the speaking area in front. Whenever the team member need to come and present, they will come in front. Either it can be in the front or side like this. Chair will be sitting in front. Judges will be sitting in front. Chairman will be. This is the layout. And most important, audience. So when we go for a debate, this is what the arrangement is. Proposition, that's team basically. Opposition, team. Then chair, timer, judges, and audience. Let me invite Toastmaster Muhammad Ashraf to do the table topics for today. Before that, timer, can we have the timing rules?
The timing for the table topic is 1 to 2 minutes. Minimum is 1 minute and maximum is 2 minutes. And there is a 30 seconds is a grace period for each speaker.
Thank you.
How many people we should call? We got four people. Hi, good evening. For
Good
the
evening.
gift of the guest. Again,
Two experience.
we have got a session. It's called table topics. What we are going to do is we'll be calling persons here, and I'll be giving a topic to him. He needs to speak at least for 1 minute, and a maximum for 2.5 minutes. If he speaks less than 1 minute or more than 2 minutes and 30 seconds, he'll be disqualified. Okay? And I would like to start with experience. Who has got no roads today, please? No, everyone has got road today, right? And so I would like to. Yeah, could you please come on the stage? Give me a number between 1 and 12. 7. See, I'm going to give you some simple statements. You need to speak on that, okay? You know, last time you have attended this. Happiness is found within. Happiness is found within Toastmaster.
Good evening, everyone. So we hope you're all doing great. So happiness lies within, of course, me. So I'm the one who can create happiness. I'm the one who can decide whether I can be happy or I can be sad. And I'm the one who can, for example, something goes wrong today. So every day is not same like yesterday. Every day is not maybe like tomorrow. So we have to accept everything and we have to be happy always. And, thank you.
You need to continue, carry on.
Experience.
What makes you more happy? Korean.
Of course, when I completed my graduation, I was jobless. So because I understood that I was the one, reason for not getting a job. So it's no one else, because instead of being sad or instead of being worried, so be happy and be strong. So you just have to encourage yourself and you just have to have that courage, so that I can
Hi, sir. So can I have a number between 1 and 12 except 7?
3.
Sir, your name?
Anup Kumar.
Yeah, Anup Kumar. Your topic for today is everyone's journey is different. Everyone's journey is different. Toastmaster Anup Kumar.
Dear all, and once again good evening. And everyone's journey is different. Rightly, the sentence is very correct, because as far as journey is concerned, that can always be different. He is not talking about the goal. He is talking about the journey, the path through which you are supposed to attain a goal, or you are supposed to achieve your targets. Like for us, for all of us, means taking care of your family, parents, society. This is your goal. Someone is meeting this goal by becoming an engineer, someone is by becoming a doctor, someone is a spiritual leader, someone, like journeys are different for everybody, but the goal is one. And what I can say, the goal of everybody is to get salvation. Journey can be anything, but the goal is one. Thank you.
May I request our timer?
Yeah.
And Ashok, can you please take over? Just for an information. 1 minute, 1.5 minutes, and 2 minutes. Ashraf, you know the time, right? Toastmasters between 1 and 12, except 3 and 7.
Fine.
Toastmasters now, your topic for today is what goes around comes around. What goes around comes around. Toastmasters now, good luck.
Toastmaster of the evening, table topics, and fellow members and guests, warm good evening to you.
Good evening.
What is goes around, what is comes around, right?
What goes around, come around.
Come around. When I am standing here, something is goes around me. When I am going to sit there, something is coming. That is a very different I felt when I am standing this question. That is a great, I can say, for that subject. And of course, I think I have already explained about this is related to my personal, because I'm not that much speakable person. I was always shivering and I cannot able to face the people. So that is one of my surrounding main issue. But in my last, I think I have already explained all the things. Even the situation is compelled me to explain again that the reason now I am standing and I can able to deliver any kind of the topic that is a great, that is surrounding, it's happening around me, and something is which is goes surrounding from me, that fear which was in existence, that is goes around from me. I think that's all. Thank you.
And the last one, could you please come? Number, except 5, 3 and 7. 9. Simple one. Shanavas. PM Shanavas, your topic for today is kindness is free. Kindness is free. Toastmaster Shanavas. Good luck. Kindness is free.
Toastmaster of the day, table topics master, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I have given the topic, kindness is free. Kindness means the feeling which we express or which comes in our mind when we see something, when we face some, when we experience when we see the experience of some poor people or somebody who is suffering, that time the feeling, this kindness feeling comes to our mind. So there is, I think what the subject means is we should help others. Means when we see somebody is suffering or somebody is, needs something, we have to be kind to them. We should not turn our face around away from them. We have to show some empathy, and this will not cost us anything. Mostly to help somebody, there is no much expense. Even if it is if we have to spend something, that will come back to us from somebody else as a kindness when we are in such a situation. I think that is how I can explain this topic. Over to you.
We have this time for voting. You may carry the voting. And Toastmaster Naufal, Anu, Shanavas, and I forgot your name. Prem. These are the 4 people who are to come.
Thank you, Toastmaster Muhammad Ashraf. Timer, can we have the time taken by this contact?
The topic timing is Toastmaster Prem, he took 1 minute 27 seconds, and Toastmaster Anil Kumar 1 minute 31 seconds, and myself 1 minute 35 seconds, and Toastmaster Shanavas 1 minute 43 seconds. All are qualified.
Thank you. Toastmaster Shanavas, can you switch on this? Meantime, you can give your vote for the best table topic speaker. Tally counter can collect the ballots. Let me quickly go through. As I said, the major part of the debate is handled by the proposition and opposition. let's see what do this proposition team do. So the team in the proposition team, they will make the case for the motion. See, these two, case and motion, are the two parliamentary terms which are used in the debate. So motion is the subject which is given for the debate. So the team, the proposition team, what they will do, they will make the case. That means they will say status quo is not acceptable. Always you remember, debate topic will say something is going on, so that's wrong. You need to change it. So that is what the proposition team is proposing. Okay, we need to change it, and they are putting a case for the motion. Who is putting forward the motion? The chair is putting forward the motion, and proposition team will go put a case for the motion. Then there are two people involved. First proposition speaker will define the motion and lay out the case, complete argument. Very important. As I said, there will be two members in the proposition team as well as the opposition team. In the first person who speak, he or she need to speak for 2.5 minutes. He need to properly explain again about the complete argument. Why they are proposing the change? Exactly, they need to come up with content and ideas. Then there will be a second speaker. Again, he will be getting another 2 minutes and 30 seconds. He actually what he do in between, the opposition team person will come and speak. So the second person, he will refute or counter the first opposition speaker's arguments. So there are two members in the proposition team. The first person need to prepare like a prepared speech. The topic will be given in advance. Mostly he need to come up with the proper content to support that motion. And the second person in the same team, he also need to prepare, but mainly he need to counter what the other team's person, the opposition team is speaking about. And there is a third session by the same team, summarization. One of these two can do a summarization at the end, then which explain finally he need to urge the house, okay, you need to go for this motion. That's the person, his capability, his capacity and his capability to make sure the team is agreeing with the argument. So these are the three speeches which the proposition team need to do. There are two people. First person will properly place the argument in 2.5 minutes. Second person is actually for the attack against the opposition, and one of them can do a summary speech that finally conclude, okay, they need to endorse the idea. Similarly, the opposition team sitting in the other side. Again, the team will have two members. Opposition speaker 1, he make a case against the motion. Proposition team is coming and they are telling, we need to change everything. Then the opposition will say, no, we need to maintain the status quo. Why do you want to change it? No need. The first speaker need to come with the proper, this is very challenging basically. Okay, proper cases and tell in 2.5 minutes, okay, these are the reasons why we don't want to change. Second person, again, he need to counter what the proposition team is telling in the first speech. And one of them can take the role of a summarization at the end. After all arguments, again he need to tell, he need to substantiate, he need to firm, okay, tell the house, you need to vote against this motion. That's the law. Chairman, I'm not going to explain in detail. I will send you out this. These are all the rules as usual. You need to totally manage. And they'll say, role for the floor. Again, floor means the audience sitting in front. the floor audience can be judges also, as I elaborated earlier. We have the opportunity to question the speaker again. In our Toastmaster contest, I didn't see that. Still, there is an opportunity when both the team will do their arguments, counter arguments. Then, after that, chair will give an opportunity for the floor audience to ask the questions. So, opponent or opposition or proposition supposed to answer those questions in the conclusion speech. That will come in between before the conclusion speech. Address the question to chairman. Actually, let's say you have a question, you need to, the chair will be here, you need to address to chair, but you can tell, respected chair, my question is to the opposition, my question is to the proposition, why it is so. So, at the conclusion, it is their due diligence to take up that question and answer. Okay. Now, after the summary speeches, the floor will vote. Who is deciding whether the motion need to be agreed or rejected? Floor, including the judges or audience, they will decide by seeing and hearing all the arguments. Yes, we need to go with the motion, or we don't want to go with the motion. That's what the role of floor means, people sitting in the front. If the motion passes, the proposition will be debated. If the motion fails, opposition will be debated. This is the point. Evaluators, as we know, they need to consider all these things. I will send out this to you. This is the format, this is the way it is going to happen. Chairman's introductions. The chairman will define the motion. Initially, motion means this sentence. You will say, this is what the motion is. Then, the sequence you need to understand is, first proposition speech, 2.5 minutes normally. As I said, two people will be sitting in the proposition side. The first speaker will speak about the motion. Then the first opposition speaker, person from the other side, the second proposition speech, floor debate. After this, the team speaks about this, argues about, then the floor can raise questions, then opposition summary speech, and then proposition summary speech. This constitutes altogether 15 minutes if it goes very properly. But that is not the case always. You can see a note at the end. POIs after each speech except summary. POI means point of information. So in between the speeches, let's say once the first speaker is speaking, the opposition can ask question. That is called point of, this is very important. In the debate, whatever you speak, that will be based on content or fact. So opposition will immediately question. When you say obesity in UAE, so this many people have died in UAE in the last 1 year, immediately the question will come, where is the evidence? If you cannot show the evidence, that means you have failed in that purpose. So whenever you come, come into debate, it should be with factual backings. So that's where this point of information comes in. You can ask questions, point of information. So when the opposition or audience asks point of information, whatever you speak, you are liable. The speaker is supposed to answer the question. It is not mandatory. If you are not answering, then there will be a reduction in your mark, mostly in the evaluation. It's not mandatory, but it is a best practice to answer the point of information. Challenge, undermine, weaken. This is the way you can overrule the other person. If I cannot answer whatever I am telling, that means I will be down automatically. That's where I saw the debates, what happened last year. This is the way the team is winning. You can speak anything, but answering to the question, to the point, that's very important. So, you should be prepared to ask questions also. You should be prepared to answer the questions also. So, short and to the point, no obligation to accept, but accept and respond. Simply ignoring the point is considered as bad manner. Okay, so you will be having, see, when you do the debate, it's the best mechanism for you to improve our Toastmaster qualities like impromptu skill, very well, quick responses. Then we will be thoroughly studying the topics, not even for speeches, because we need to answer the questions also. We need to substantiate. That's all advantages of having. Now let us see. Initially, I divided you into two, right? So I have given a motion. You can see at the bottom. Again, this is valid. This house will ban the promotion of diets. This is the motion. Let's say I am the chair. I am putting forward this motion to the debaters. This house will ban the promotion of diets. Okay? We have two teams over here. Not today. Don't worry. Challenges means proposing team and various opposing team. Okay? This side is the proposing team. This side is the opposing team. Proposition, opposition. So what do you need to do? Okay. So you need to. So you should be arguing for the motion. That means this is the motion. This house will ban the promotion of diets. Then you need to tell what is the necessity. Currently, various diet habits are going on. You are going to challenge, and you are going to tell we are going to stop this. What are the reasons? You need to come with evidences. Okay. Now you are the. This is just team name. Challenges and warriors. You are the warriors. You are going to defeat them. How? You need to come up. You need to tell. You need to finally establish that we need to maintain the status quo. Dieting is must. Dieting is required. No way. Without dieting, diet and diet controls, we cannot survive. That is your duty. So when this is going to happen, this is going to happen in this meeting. So team is set. You need to select two for the proposition team. You need to select two for the opposition team now itself. You can propose your names. The remaining will be the audience and judges. There is a judges evaluation sheet. I will bring the judges sheet also. All of us will be the evaluators than the contestants. So just give me the names today itself.
Proposition.
Yes, from the proposition. One is Shiva.
Yes.
Second.
Next meeting, when will this spot, December?
I'm going on leave.
Okay.
Next meeting, next Monday is.
Video conferencing? No. Okay. Who is the second?
Next Monday is a public holiday, I think.
Then you will change.
December 4.
Then.
December 4 is not holiday.
Yes.
December
Today,
2nd and
Sunday and
3rd.
Monday.
No, 4 days. 30,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. 4 days holiday.
Anyway, you want to change it, right? Yes.
Yeah.
So second, quickly. Who else?
I'm not there.
Okay. Opposition team. Yes. Okay. Muhammad Ashraf.
December 3rd.
And second. John Thomas. Okay, let's do it. No?
Sir, sorry,
Yes.
normally we used to see 3 kids,
Yes, in the contest I saw 3. We can have, if we have time, we will.
I think that will be better.
We will include one more. Okay?
You offer one.
2 is fixed.
See, first one we go for, presenting the motion, then go for the challenging, and finally the closing.
Closing the third person.
Yeah, closing.
Can be the third or can be whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, we will include one more. We will be getting
one more person.
next one. Okay, thank you. Now let me quickly conclude the rest of the roles. Can I have the reports by the role players? Report by Headmaster, Madam Toastmaster Jamila, please. Invite her with a thunderous
Hi, good evening once again. I am very happy to announce the word plaudit has been used 9 times, plus one more, 10 times. And the people who have used the word is, most number of times is Toastmaster Arun 5 times, Toastmaster Rajesh 2 times, Toastmaster John Thomas 1 time, and